It's March. It's the last week of March. The entire month of March, you guys have been learning about peace. And as you guys flip open to Colossians, we'll read that in a minute. Everybody in here has learned about the importance of peace. But I'm not going to stand up here and say it's easy, right? Peace has been really difficult as we learn more and more over the past weeks how difficult it is. Especially when your little brother eats the last piece of cake. Or your friend sneaks an open packet of ketchup under you as you sit down at lunch. Or when your friends are getting into a heated argument and you're trying to calm them down, it's hard to be a peacemaker and not get swept up into the drama. But we read how important peace is. And we expect peace to be easy, don't we? We think, oh, this is God's word, we'll make peace, and we expect it to be easy. But in reality, it ends up being a piece of work, not a piece of cake. And as we found in God's word, even though peace is not a piece of cake, but a piece of work, we read in God's word that it's important for us. And so you have it open? You guys are there with me? Great. Colossians 3. Colossians 3. Look up here if you don't have your Bible. Colossians 3:15 says this, "And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you were called, in one body, and be thankful." Paul says, and he writes this letter to Colossians, and he says this, "And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you are called, in one body, and be thankful." Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. And so as we read that, we see that peace is expected of Christians. We see that it's our job to make peace. And it's not easy, but it's our job to work together with other Christians to make peace. And we see that it's not just an expectation God has, but it's an example that God set. Because when God sent His Son to die on the cross for sins that we committed, not sins that He committed, God was showing us, this is the way that I'm making for you to have a relationship with me. I'm making peace. And so we see that this is important. And as we see that this makes sense, we understand this is true, we understand that we need to follow Jesus in making peace. It's a whole other thing to actually live it out and obey God's word and be a peacemaker and make peace and choose to make peace rather than to either fight back or decide what we want to do in another way. And so we see today, we're going to look at a few common conflicts in which we have a decision to make. Are we going to choose peace, or are we going to choose to maybe hurt someone that's hurt us and in a unique way? So we're going to invite up our host, Jacob Woods, to come on up. He's going to help us out today. So put your hands together. Put Jacob away. All right, so like I said, we're going to look at a couple common scenarios where you can either choose peace or maybe choose to hurt somebody because they hurt you or hurt your feelings. So here's the first scenario. You get home from school, and it's been a long day at school, and you know the expectation when you go home from school is that you do your homework before you watch TV or go outside and play. And so you get home and you crack open your books, you start doing that math homework, and no one likes math homework, especially you. Just the thought of it makes you nauseated, and you feel like you're going to throw up from those tater tot casserole you scarfed down at lunch. This is not sitting well. But you push through, you power through your homework, you finish it up, and just as you finish up your homework, the only thing that carried you through doing your homework was the realization that you've already committed, and you signed up and you've agreed that you're going to watch TV first once your homework's done. So you finish your homework, and in a sign of triumph, signaling you've completed and conquered the horrible feat of homework, you slam your book to the ground. As you do that, you do a little victory lap in your room, celebrating that you've conquered homework, and now it's time to celebrate. But in one more act of triumphant, conquering that homework, you throw the book one more time across the room. And as you head out, feeling like the mighty warrior that you are after completing your homework, you go into the living room, and to your frustration, you see your little brother sitting there on the couch watching that silly little kid cartoon that just started. And it's your turn to watch TV. And so you have a choice. You have a choice. Do you choose to grab the nearest pillow and knock him up as hard as you can? And try and knock some sense into him and say, "Hey, startle him into an aggressive, probably blow-by-blow fist fight that's sure to ensue? Or do you choose to come up alongside and say, hi brother, I know you've had a long day at school as well. When your show's over, do you think I can have a turn and watch TV? So you have a situation, and there's two choices. Both choices bring out a different consequence. Do you choose to hurt them in response to how you're feeling, or you choose to make peace and to see how you might take care and help them understand how you're feeling in the situation? So that's first situation. Second situation, we're going to look at how do we make peace in our everyday situations we come across. The second situation is this. Your friends are so connected. I mean, your friends hang out every morning, every lunch, at breaks, at the bus. They play all the same sports. Your buddies are tight. And there's a new friend of the friend group. And one of your little girls is just about to celebrate her birthday. And she makes all of these birthday card invitations to hand out. And as she's passed out these invitations, you're excited because this invitation is the invitation to the party of a lifetime. It's at the party place that has laser tag, mini golf, go-karts, climbing wall, and yes, an arcade, but it gets better, an indoor heated swimming pool with a huge high dive. And you're excited because you're sure to be invited to this party, and as she's handing out all of these invitations, everyone's getting one because they have their name on them, and then she gets to you and you don't get an invitation. Oh no. That's a bummer situation. So what do we choose to do? One, do we choose to faint dramatically and loudly and positively to get everyone's attention on you and how horrible and you feel and how much of a bummer situation it is for you to hopefully make her feel horrible and bummed out and then kind of manipulate her to invite you to the party? That's one choice. Or do we choose the other option? The other option is to buy her a special birthday card as her birthday nears and give it to her as a sign of appreciation for who she is. And then when it's your birthday, do you make sure to invite her to your party because you don't want her to feel as hurt as you feel then? So both choices have different outcomes, but the same situation that's hurtful. We have to choose, how do we make peace? How do we help people rather than hurt them in those situations? Last situation, it's Friday. And everyone knows, on Friday, in gym class, you play dodgeball! The best game ever! And so on Friday, in gym class, it's dodgeball, and you're with your best friend, your BFF, your best friend forever is in dodgeball with you. And he's one of the two captains who's choosing everyone to be on the team. And as your friend is picking person by person to be on the team, he's picking Jessica, Jesse, and Daniel. They all have the strongest arms in the class. It's going to be just a complete slaughter. They're going to be so massive, and you can't wait to be on the winning team. And he picks everyone, and the other team captain picks everyone, and now it's just you and another person left. And then he picks the other person, and so now you're the last person. You're not even picked. You're just by default going to this other team, and you feel horrible. Now, do you choose option number one, to play this dodgeball game with every athletic bone in your body and throw the dodgeball, disregarding the rule where you don't throw to the head, but you aim right for his noodle dome and you throw as hard as you can to hit him where it counts, and you take him out? That's option number one. Option number two is you have a great game of dodgeball, you have fun, and as the game ends, you come alongside your BFF and give him a hug and say, man, wasn't that awesome? We got to play dodgeball in gym class today. That was so great. So, give it up for Jacob. So as we see, boys and girls, today, peace is God's plan. God's plan from the beginning, when Adam and Eve chose to sin, we see that God chose peace. You see, we have situations in our lives where people hurt us. We have situations and scenarios in our lives where people do things to us that aren't right. And we, deep inside of us, when Adam and Eve sinned in the beginning, we have that same hurt and that same spirit that we want to get back at them. We want to grab the pillow and smack our little brother on the couch. We want to faint and cause a scene and get everyone to look at me. We want to grab that dodgeball, don't we? And throw it as hard as we can and try and get it so that it nails our buddy in the head. Knock some sense into him. But here's the deal, boys and girls. Peace is a choice. We have to make a deliberate decision to say this. I care more about you than I care about what's right. That's what we've been learning, isn't it? And that's what's so hard. Can we stop for a minute when we've been hurt and say, I care more about you and helping you than about what's right? Can you say it with me? I care more about you than about what's right. I care more about you than about what's right. Okay, one more time. I care more about you than about what's right. So think about this with me for a minute. God creates something beautiful. He makes Adam and Eve. And then Eve and Adam, they sin. And now they're separated from God. So does God say, okay, sin equals death. I'm going to kill Adam and Eve now. You're dead. That's what he should do. That's the right thing to do. Does God do that?
No.
He kills an animal, clothes them, sends them out of the Garden of Eden. And it was a sign because the animal took the punishment, not Adam and Eve. But many years later, Jesus comes. And he goes onto the cross and he dies for the sin of the entire world. Everything that anyone has ever done wrong, that's what the Bible calls sin, Jesus pays for it. And God shows us that's his peace plan. By not always doing what's right necessarily, but caring more about you so that you can have a right relationship with him. And so we see that 3 days later, when Jesus died on the cross for the sins he didn't commit, everyone points to themselves. I sinned. I broke God's law. And Jesus died for me. Now everyone throw up 3 fingers. Throw them up. 3 days later, on Sunday, Jesus rose from the grave. And now point to your heart to give me a new life. Here's the thing is, Jesus' death paid the price for all of our sins. So we can have a chance to have a relationship with him. He cared more about you than about what was right. And you know what else? He wants us to follow his example. Jesus wants you to make peace, even though it's hard sometimes and it's a challenge. So I want you to think about this. As we get our key question up on the slide here, this is what you guys are going to go continue to talk about in small groups. As you learn this truth, and we're reminded of this plan that God has to make peace for us and his expectation that we follow his example, who in your life do you need to make peace with? Maybe it's your brother or sister. Maybe it's a friend who you just haven't quite got along with for a little while. You need to go to them and make peace and figure out what happened. Maybe you don't even know, but the question is, who in your life do you need to make peace with? Before I let you go to head back to your small groups to talk more about that, let me pray for us. Let's pray.